Did you know there are motel rooms in some places that remain permanently locked? Not because they're broken, but because something once happened inside that the owners refuse to talk about. Most people think those stories are just urban legends meant to scare travelers. I used to think the same thing, until I started working the night shift at a small roadside motel and learned why room number 8 was never supposed to be opened. The motel sat along a quiet stretch of highway miles outside the nearest town, the kind of place exhausted drivers stopped at when they were too tired to keep going. 10 doors faced a cracked parking lot. A flickering neon sign buzzed above the office window, casting weak red light across the pavement. Most nights, only 2 or 3 rooms were occupied. I worked alone from midnight until sunrise. The owner, an older man named Harold, trained me on my first night. He walked me through the basics, checking guests in, answering the desk phone, logging room numbers in an old computer system that looked like it hadn't been updated since the early 2000s. Before leaving, he stopped at the doorway and turned back toward me. "There's only one rule here," he said. His voice sounded casual, but the way he looked at me wasn't. "Never open room number 8 if the guest inside asks you to." I frowned. "Guest?" Harold just shrugged. "Just follow the rule." Then he left. At the time, I assumed it was some kind of joke meant to mess with the new employee. Motels had weird traditions like that. Room number 8 sat at the far end of the building. The door looked older than the others, darker somehow, like it had been repainted too many times. But it was locked, and according to the system, it wasn't rented. For the first few weeks, nothing unusual happened. Most nights were painfully quiet. Occasionally, a truck driver would check in around midnight, sometimes a tired family passing through. By 2 a.m., the parking lot was usually silent. That's why the phone ringing at 3:12 a.m. startled me so badly. The sound cut through the empty office like a knife. I glanced down at the caller display. Room number 8. My stomach tightened. I told myself it had to be a wiring issue. Maybe the line was still connected somehow. Still, I picked up. "Front desk," I said. For a moment there was only static. Then a man's voice whispered through the receiver, weak, shaky, almost breathless. "Hello?" "Yeah," I said slowly. "This is the front desk." The voice sounded relieved. "Oh, thank God. I need help." Something about the way he said it made the hair on my arms rise. "What's wrong?" I asked. I think someone locked me in here." A cold feeling crept up my spine. I glanced at the computer screen beside me. Room number 8 showed vacant. "No one's registered in that room," I said. The man's breathing grew faster. "I don't care about the records," he whispered. "Please, just come open the door." I hesitated. Harold's warning floated back into my mind. Never open room number 8. I forced a small laugh into my voice. "Sir, you must be mistaken about the room number." "I'm not," he said urgently. Then the line went dead. I sat there staring at the phone. Part of me wanted to ignore it, but curiosity got the better of me. So I grabbed the hallway camera monitor and pulled up the feed for the motel corridor. The screen showed the row of doors stretching across the dim parking lot. Room 1, Room 2, Room 3. The camera at the far end finally settled on room number 8. The door looked completely normal, closed, still. No lights, no movement. I exhaled slowly. probably a prank call. I was about to return to my paperwork when the phone rang again. 3:17 a.m. Room number 8. This time the voice sounded worse, more desperate. "You didn't come," the man whispered. My pulse quickened. "Sir, there's no record of anyone in that room." "I know what your computer says," he replied sharply. Then his tone dropped again. "Please, you don't understand." "What happened in there?" I asked. Silence filled the line. Then he whispered something strange. "The door won't stay closed." A chill ran through my body. "What do you mean?" But the call ended again. Uneasy now, I stepped outside to check the hallway myself. The night air felt colder than usual. The neon motel sign flickered above me as I walked along the row of doors. Room 1, Room 2, Room 3. Everything was quiet. When I reached the end of the corridor, I stopped. Room number 8 stood in front of me. The door was closed, but something about it felt wrong. The paint near the bottom looked scratched, long, thin marks carved into the wood, like someone had dragged their fingernails across it, over and over again. My throat tightened. I leaned closer. That's when I noticed something else. The door wasn't fully shut. It was open, just a fraction of an inch. A dark gap ran along the frame. From inside the room, I thought I heard something move, a slow, dragging sound. I took a step back immediately. Harold's warning repeated in my mind. Never open room number 8. So I turned and hurried back to the office. The phone rang again before I even sat down. 3:29 a.m., room number 8. I picked up with shaking hands. "Hello?" The voice sounded different this time, less desperate, more serious. "You saw the door, didn't you?" he asked. I didn't answer. "How long have you been working here?" he continued. 3 weeks. Then he spoke quietly. "That means you don't know what happened." My stomach twisted. "What happened in that room?" I asked. The man exhaled slowly. "I checked in here years ago," he said. Something was already inside. The lights in the office flickered. "What do you mean?" "You should listen carefully," he said. His voice had become strangely calm now. "Because if I'm still in here..." He stopped. "It means the other one got out." My chest tightened. "What other one?" I whispered, but the line had already gone silent. A cold dread settled in my stomach. I opened the motel's old records cabinet and began digging through the files. Dust coated the folders. Most dated back more than 10 years. After several minutes, I found one labeled Incident Report, Room Number 8. My hands trembled as I opened it. Inside were police documents, photographs, witness statements. The report described a guest who had checked into room number 8 nearly a decade earlier, a man traveling alone. According to the files, other guests reported hearing screaming coming from the room late that night. When the motel staff opened the door, they found the room destroyed, furniture overturned, walls scratched, and the guest gone. But the strangest detail was written at the bottom of the report. The police noted 2 distinct sets of footprints in the room. One set belonged to the missing guest. The other didn't match any known person. After that night, the owner sealed the room permanently. I slowly lifted my eyes toward the hallway camera monitor. Room number 8's door was now fully closed, but something moved in the darkness beside it. A shape passed through the camera frame, tall, Slow, human, but wrong somehow. My heart pounded as I leaned closer to the screen. The hallway was empty again. Then the phone rang. 3:41 a.m. Not from room number 8, from the hallway security line. I answered slowly. The same voice whispered through the receiver, but now it sounded terrified again. "Did you find the records?" he asked. "Yes." His breathing quickened. "Then you understand now?" A heavy silence filled the line, and somewhere outside the office, I heard footsteps, slow, deliberate, walking past the motel doors. "Listen carefully," the voice whispered. "Whatever you do." The footsteps stopped outside the office door. "Don't let it know you can hear it." Then the office lights went out, and something slowly started knocking on the door. Thanks for sipping tonight's tale with Haunted Brew. Don't forget to subscribe, and sleep tight if you still can.